Are we live? I think it's live this time. Thank goodness. I was trying to get online yesterday, and it appears as though there were some changes to things in Twitch, and it was a chore. It was not connecting successfully for quite a while. I tried it for about half an hour, and then I gave up and moved on to something else. But tonight, we are indeed live. Let me let some people know. Let's see. All right. Welcome back to Sunless Skies. We now begin our search for the truth. We need to bring on crew members. And let's see, we have only a few sovereigns for now. We'll bring on the driver, our old friend. The new ambition. Following your return to New Winchester, you are eager to meet up with an old friend. She is a staunch verger. She was the backbone of your little church, ensuring ceremonies proceeded as reliably as clockwork. Let's see, how's the volume level? While you administered to the spirit, she oversaw the more terrestrial concerns of the parish, its maintenance and improvement, its schedules and its accounts. Until one day, not long after arriving in the heavens, she told you she had received a calling. God had decided that her place was among the stars, carrying the word and witnessing his ineffable design. You gave her your blessing. She's a skyfarer now, captain of the Azazel. She associates with a group of seasoned captains who gather at the Promise of Days here in New Winchester. Perhaps you can find her there. That doesn't appear to be indicated the Promise of Days. I'll check on that in a moment. We need to become somebody. Let's take on some facets. An hour in Guess the Main. You doubted. You had good reason, but the bishop called it a crisis of faith. When you found your way from that twilit valley, from its uncertain path and its snaring briars, were you the same person who had entered it? You lost faith. The scales fell from your eyes. Doubt is not weakness, it is reason, and once you began asking questions, it was impossible to stop. We need to get our mirrors up higher, a good bit. A lost love. Love, the gradual erosion of that which separates you from someone else. You loved, you lost. How badly does it hurt now? Like a gnawing ache, a hole in the heart. An esteemed predecessor, an earlier captain, was held in high regard. Let's see. Parlors of the Privileged is certainly true of my previous captain. My most recent captain. The earlier captain than that was related to Academy. The Great Game. Let's see. Looking for mirrors. We can gain mirrors and veils through the Great Game. I think it'll have to do. No. Scandal. Mad, they said. Bad, they said. Dangerous to know. A parade of debauchery, absinthe, wantonness, more absinthe, brawling, gambling, blasphemy, and slander, absinthe and prisoner's honey alone, prisoner's honey and company. Is there a vice you haven't explored? It's possible. There are only so many hours in a day. A mentor. Blind bruiser. A seance. London was obsessed with the occult. You were a believer. Haunted. What was the nature of the haunting? A ghostly presence? We need only a little bit more mirrors to be basically competent. Promise of days? You helped lay the foundations of London. Let's see. I've got 5 facets left to take. I still haven't seen my... the facet emerge for my previous circumstances. Let me see. I need to start equipping the ship. So, we've gotten able to equip the Durandal. We cannot currently equip the rose and adamant plating, but we can equip the Rossetti cabins, the sensible plumbing. The wit and vinegar winch and pulley can be equipped, but it's not what I prefer to start with. I'd rather be using the Proserpina, which requires 25 veils. I'll have to be considerate about that. The black jape we can't equip. The intrepid cavy we can. The Wrath of Heaven, 65 hearts. That is our absolute requirement at the moment. We can equip the Vala. Okay, 65 hearts then. Out of 56, we can get there. No problem. Family footsteps. We have inherited their virtues. August avenues. You wouldn't bring shame to your household. You kept your disobediences modest and discreet. No one was any the wiser. I need more hearts. Just a bit. A settler? One bad season. That's all it takes. Just a smidgen more hearts and we have it. I don't want to take your club now. So we'll take below stairs. You dealt with the matters your masters couldn't be troubled with, like cleaning and cooking and parenting. But how loyal were you? You took them for all they were worth. Alright. From here, if I could manage maybe a bit more veils, maybe a bit more irons, we're at the point where we can kind of level off. Thief Oath. Ah, the long arm of the law. This is an important one to take when it shows up. We'll take irons, and we want more mirrors than this. Yes, this gets us past the 65 breakpoint on mirrors. You were a temporary recruit to help maintain order during London's perilous exodus to the sky. Bit of a complex character. It seems as though we've chosen 2 ways about certain things. Oh, my mistake. Right. Our heavy weapon is fitted. Come now. Get in there. Right, back in the banking. We cannot use the rose and adamant plating. We cannot use the mining array just yet, so we might as well carry the winch and pulley. Or we could use the pneumatic mining array, the basic one. Let's see. I'm going to carry the winch and pulley. Put that back away. Let's see. Okay. I did enjoy the black jape, but it's going to be difficult for us to get back up to that many irons. We were an irons-focused captain before. This time we're on hearts and mirrors, and hearts is why we can use the Wrath of Heaven. Consulting the bazaar. Munitions for the Lustrum mines, up to 9 crates. Verdant seeds for Magdalene's. This is a guaranteed prospect every time you're playing a new captain. 9 crates of munitions. 9. So we can begin with a few little ambitious things, and this will get us back up above this dismal starting point. We need to carry through a few different early storylines to kind of see about things. Let's see, if we're able to climb the mountains in Lustrum, there's a requirement for house there. I know it requires a pane of stained glass. I think it's a pane of stained glass, 1 bronze wood, and then something else. Let's see. It might be a barrel of ours. Back to the plot itself. I'll attempt to mediate this. We failed. This is about ferrying the 13th Psalmist. We have started this plot line before, but we still haven't gone to the Blue Kingdom. Okay. Where's our dead end? Here we go. Inquire after the staunch verger. You know she's one of their coterie. Where is she? Ah, she speaks of you often, the plucky Baroness says. I'm afraid you've missed her. We've all been missing her recently. Busy girl. But she's doing important work in London. The bedeviled didact frowns darkly and fingers one of his amulets. We've been assisting in our own small ways, but well, she'll want to explain herself. She left a letter for you. Meg pulls a crumpled envelope from the pocket of her patched coat. I'd open it somewhere private, or someone, she glares at the masked citizen, will try to read over your shoulder. The masked citizen nods unapologetically. It's true, I'm a disgrace. Read the letter elsewhere in New Winchester. Go elsewhere, then. Privately, you examine the letter. The staunch verger's handwriting, never neat, is clearly hurried. There are several unfinished trains of thought angrily struck through. She writes, coyly, of having embarked on a journey of the most fundamental discovery, and of having uncovered celestial secrets. She says she wants to discuss her progress with you, but does not say where or when. The envelope also contains a collection of unfinished crosswords cut from the newspapers. I see. We will need 2 savage secrets to get started. All right. In the meantime, we should go to Lustrum. And we've got quite a lot of chart that's already discovered. It's pretty useful. Among our early activities here in, let's see. We can replay plot lines at Leadbeater and Stainrods, as well as Palmyre and Plenty's. So getting those started is not a bad idea. There's a longer chain at Trader's Wood. We can always perform the Regent's Grave plotline and the plotline regarding the wreck of the Parsifal. So we want to get these things either underway and or done before we've left the Reach. So I'm thinking the route we want to take is possibly Palmyre's to Leadbeater's, a quick stop in at Titania, Carillon, and then Lustrum. It's a little roundabout if Lustrum is our goal, so we could invert that and go straight to Lustrum and then through the rest of it. The thing is, Palmyre's may give us a job in some of these other places. Let's see what our hold space is like. 9 munitions is a lot to carry, given that we could be gathering things. Tell you what, let's stop into the Victoria Market. Let's get a little bit more of that. We will go to Lustrum first. Make sure I've got my buttons right. Okay, left click is the big guns. Got it. Double check on that. So, we're going to go to Lustrum first, because this is just a bit too much stuff to hold on to at once. We will need to pick up a few more crew members. We've got an engineer and a signaler. Yep. Our best mascot is always acquired in Port Avon, and that would be the Blemmigan. Now, I'm not sure if irons actually has an effect on damage. Our previous captain was able to destroy most things in 2 shots. If we find that things are a little bit more durable, it'd be because we have lower irons, but I'm not sure if that's the case or not. Sunless Seas was very much founded on those kinds of subtle interactions. There's actually a hidden terror removal when killing large monsters based on how many hearts you have. I believe it was 1/10 of your hearts was deducted from your terror when killing most things. Which meant that playing evasively was much more, much worse for your overall terror. I don't have the job yet to start taking out tackities and stovepipes. We do want to try and play both sides for a little bit to try and get our resources up. But until we've gotten those jobs, it's a bit of a bother. That will require us to go to Lustrum and Port Prosper, so that we can start gathering nameplates. Alright, no, we're still fairly deadly. Very good. 86% chance. We're going to go with experience gain for a while. We've got 6 levels to catch up on. That requires a saying to interact with. This is one of the highest, this is one of the places in the game where, what's it called? A saying is most useful. One of the places in the Reach where a saying is most useful. You get ruin spawns between here and Lustrum. Alright, nearly there. There are a few other crew members we could be trying to improve upon. We don't have an improved quartermaster, so we want to get engaged in the plot line regarding either our aunt or the Chiropterus Hoarder. Both is good. Pick up the Fortunate Navigator. This is a first officer. Welcome aboard. So that's just a clean gain. We'll go into the bazaar, turn over the munitions. We get a bonus of an unlicensed chart and a decent bit of sovereigns to get started. They've also kicked over a bit of hours. We can pick up tea. Yep, that's good. At Sweet Jane's counting house, we'll pick up her offer that allows us to hunt tackities. No, sorry, allows us to hunt stovepipes. Pick up on that. Murgatroyd's Golden Tea Shop will enjoy a cup of tea. Empress's favor. 1 sampling down. This, I haven't seen this at Lustrum before. This is about the pickup from the relay. Very good. Attempting to climb, 25%. 2 supplies each time. This is about 3 tries, perhaps. We can buy supplies here, so it's not that big a deal. I'll recruit crew among the miners. My crew didn't actually start very high up. So that is a mistake. I missed that before I left New Winchester. On one more. I can never get the Singing Caves to go right. Can try a couple more times. Alright, that's about what I'm willing to spend right now. Okay. I have the notes about seeking my own claim. Okay. Occasional scrub. Snow is soft and fluffy. Do better. believe it's 10 sovereigns each time we try. Oh. It puts us in the wrong part of the story if we reject the claim. We have to keep coming back here and doing this. Search continues. Are there any other beats here that I've missed? I don't think so. Right, he can always give you something adequate. Ah, the Rat Brigade is here. Good. Inspector's quarters, explore, seek a claim. Come on. Inhospitable. Ice under snow on a hard ground. A few small trees grow in. Potentially useful for cutting tools and firewood. We want thick ice under snow, no mud, hard ground, young trees, a few small trees. This should be ideal. Okay, we're going to put 5 crew members to work on the claim and have them start mining. Alright, there's business at Lustrum. I'd like to go to Titania. We might be able to get some things done in Carillon. We've got a decent bit of parts. It should be good for early experience. I've got T on board, so we'll get to know the Fortunate Navigator, which will get us his next leg of his journey in London. In terms of other officers to get started with the Rat Brigade, it's going to require a Savage Secret, which we needed in the first place. So we'll need 3 Savage Secrets. Once we are properly underway, we will have quite a lot of Savage Secrets. In Carillon, we want to try and complete the plot line regarding the Spiriphage. The only thing that might hold us back is terror level. Otherwise, it's a completely enclosed plot line with no additional requirements. The panes of glass and other materials I had withdrawn are not going to be useful if I can't complete the mountain climb. Devil's Own Luck. Mourn the dead. We do need our terror to be in a good place. Okay, we've got a guest spawn. Alright. That did damage the guest, thankfully. I would like to skirt past you and get out of your firing angle. Thank you. Got him. Not bad. We can trap guests. We're quite good at it. On the way. We've collected some guests. I notice you looking on. You didn't think to help me at all. Village for fuel and supplies. Thank you very much. Okay. And we want to check the ledgers on this over here. You always seem to get colonized cantankeries around these things. Sky Story is good. Need to build those up. We will need quite a lot of them. Oh, and a marauder. This is very busy. Cantankery. Uncanny Specimen. Get it with a 100% success rate. Here we will loot the hold. A distressingly odored barrel. Fuel. There it goes. We're very good at eating fungus. Bit of terror. Bit of terror. When you can complete that, it is the most it is, I think, about the most profitable way of interacting with those. I'm squinting, you may not be able to tell. I'm uncertain. At the current game state, I think actually blowing them away for terror is not a bad idea. You usually get a Sky Story for doing that. Approaching Carillon. If I could get a Savage Secret here, that would be very convenient, seeing as the rats, I think, have an opening to their plotline here in Carillon. It might be somewhere else? Oh, I think it is Carillon, actually. Into the foyer, report. Speak with Presiding Deviless to get the job regarding the Spirifer. At the Overgrown Shrine, we'll contemplate the statue for a terror reduction. Traveling around Carillon. We've got a lot of people to talk to. So, we started the game off stained and clear. It is based on each of your 2 background choices. Spineless Curate. Need him. We'll need Shift of Perspective and Enlightenment. We can gain Enlightenment at a 100% success rate. I think we'll need about 6 of these. Actually, I think 5 Enlightenment will do for him. Yeah. Get him rescued. He awaits in the Bell Garden. A couple more of these while I'm at it. We are a very accomplished captain to be able to just do this as much as we want. It's very silly. Okay, penance deprivation will be turned away. We'll need to... Oh, it put us in the wrong spot. Excuse me. Excuse me. Ritual of purification to enter the Bell Garden. Visit the Bell Garden. We need to first converse with our Spineless Curate. He's told us about the Spirifer. So that's lucky. It's any one of the first 3 will let you know about the Spirifer after you've assisted them with their penitence. She needs deprivation and ordeal. How good are we at deprivation? 67%? I'll want at least 2 of these. Very good. Let's go grab ordeal. Stunted Grove. Ordeal is professional penitent. To give me your task. What do you need? He needs either 5 ordeal or deprivation and ordeal. He does not leave you at the Stunted Grove when you finish talking to him. Here's where the failure starts. Okay, we'll let that sit a moment. Going back to the center of Carillon. You can blackmail him. I'm not sure what the rewards are for that, but I'm just going to turn him in. And I will probe into the nature of Devil Souls. This nets me a Searing Enigma, and also applies another quality to the soul, but my soul is already stained, so we're just gaining something redundant there. And then at the center of Carillon, I can watch him go, and observing the casting out gets me a bunch of Savage Secrets. Now that I have a bunch of Savage Secrets, we will talk to the Ratty Brigade and get their little mission started. They need to go to Carillon to find the location of Sarge's vault. What a coincidence. We'll ask about Sarge's stuff. We need a shift in perspective. All right. Oh, it actually dropped us at the right place. Checkerboard Garden. Yes, shift in perspective is based on veils, so it's very difficult for us. Speak with the Rubbery Man, Rubbery Penitent. He needs Penance, Enlightenment, and shift in perspective. This is tricky. Okay, we actually got one. I'm actually going to spend the... Okay, I'm gonna do the Rat Brigade bit first, I think. So I think that's going to be through Carillon Center in the foyer. No? Well, we'll elevate him. Gained a vision of the heavens for that. That's good. Alright, less on that. I've lost track of where that is. You'll need the penance for a shift in perspective. Okay, so that still has to happen for them. I can only afford to try about twice more. 68. That's getting borderline. I'm gonna let it be. Okay. Done. Enough of that. We got the port report while we were here. We can pick up some souls. Let's do that. I'm going for titanium. So, we've got a pile of Savage Secrets, that's handy. I would like to get... We have some moments of inspiration. I would like to have more visions of the heavens. Let's see. So, I did find out that the heirlooms you carry over, actually, it will carry over the best possible thing, and then trickle on down based on how many of that connection you have, which is why I was able to carry on down my royal dispensation. I had something like 5 connections to establishments, so I was able to carry the royal dispensation and 4 cryptic benefactors. A stowaway. Conduct a thorough search. We do need more tales of terror. Ah, very good. We will let her stay. We have ourselves a mascot. Oh, look, it's a brawl. How quaint. The UCE, keep your opinions to yourself. Isn't that delightful? Bit of salon-stewed gossip. Now, if you'll excuse me... Seems an indirect hit won't quite get rid of them. And we're not getting nameplates yet, not until we go to Port Prosper. But I can still plunder absolutely everything in my way. I believe it's a moment of inspiration to explore deeper in the Apoidian Gardens, which gets you a Searing Enigma. Rumors of mutiny. I will do nothing. What will come will come. A sudden disquiet. The stars gleam back smugly, providing no answers. Shuddering, you return to your desk. By the end of the night, your papers are in disarray and you have a headache. Come morning, you discover you accidentally signed off on the jettisoning of supplies. It's too late to undo the damage, but you make a mental note to avoid working under such stress. That's a peculiar little nightmares event. Cover nectar at a 97% success rate. Nectar hunting is going to be very profitable now that we're mirrors focused again. There was the option of building veils focused and trying to smuggle, but I wanted to play a preacher. I wanted to play very hearts heavy to search after the truth. You under attack? Report. About the next upgrade. Their funding progress is 100%. Suggest research into anti-bee defenses. Yes, I'm going to get about that later. So it looks like that's going to require 3 caged catches. We've got that. We'll attend an exhibition, drop our terror a little bit. The museum is open. I could gather up a cryptic benefactor based on the boon of Titania. What about the other... I had more than just that built before. Okay. So I'm going to see about anti-bee defenses the next time I come back. Ah, there's the salon. There's the other one. I can get 5 salon stewed gossip. I'm going to pick that up because I just need something. Even if salon stewed gossip is fairly easy to get and cryptic benefactors are not, I already have cryptic benefactors, so just see that done. The bazaar has seeds. Who needs that? I don't need to pick up more fuel or anything either. We're good. So, I want to go to Leadbeater and Stain Rods to get started with the Phlegmatic Researcher and do my first check-in with the Ornithologist. The Ornithologist is a solid source of sky stories. Suggest research to anti-bee defenses. No, it's fine. I've only lost about, I don't know, 6 crew to various bee attacks. Okay. I had to pivot to the secondary weaponry there. Partial success. I'll get some sovereigns. Bummer. So we've got Leadbeaters, then Palmiers, then we might go to... Might go to the Trader's Wood and try to accomplish that plot in one shot. we've got enough mirrors to make a good run of it. And it is very rewarding. I am going to destroy the remains. Yes, that gives us a sky story. Cool. Nectar recovery. Now we're trying to get through the early game at Eclipse so we can move on to the truth. Mourn the dead. We're off to the nature reserve. Tasks for the phlegmatic researcher are always a good series of rewards. If we had taken this much hull damage on the basic vessel, we'd be one-shottable. To think of how far we've come. And the benefits of a legacy. Inheritance is just a big old scam, really. Every monarchy seems to work just fine until you get a few generations down. A hunting party. We've got a decent chance of this. Nice. That'll net us a caged catch and a terror drop. Selling Chorister Nectar. Oh, I don't have the room for it. Gather report. In Albert Sedil, we'll go into the reserve, arrange for a guide, and we'll take a quick trip, which will earn us 2 Sky Stories, Capabilities Inquest. We'll get started with the basic research. Have a call for aid, yada yada. And the list is Chorister Bee Wings, Ants, and Hybris Pus. Okay, Hybris Pus is annoying amongst that smattering of stuff. Bee wings are fairly easy. We'll get at that along the way. Ants is a matter of chance. We'll have to come across a homestead. They happen regularly enough. So, we're going to go to Palmyr and Plenty's to... You need to visit Palmyr's twice before you can start the storyline proper. So we're going to get in our first visit at Palmyr's, grab a port report, and then we're back to New Winchester. And we'll see what they've got for prospects. Pipe up ahead. Good. Palmyr's does not sell fuel, as a note. So our fuel is a little strict for this. But that should be okay. It's a straightforward path. It may be a while before I get to truly new plot lines that I'll be reading in. Still be covering everything regarding the truth. And we can get started on that ambition once we've gotten, well, we can get the next leg of the ambition once we've gotten back home. Got over that savage secrets hurdle. We're going to be blocked by shift in perspective for a while. When it comes to the rats plotline. But whether we get that or not, the rats are... I believe the rats are an engineering slot, which is the same slot as the incautious driver, or now the judicious driver. So all that's really happening is we don't have somebody spare to use to set the driver on secondment. Officers on secondment will provide us resources if we need to bounce back and forth between a lot of ports, and we're going to be out and about for quite a long while, so it's useful to have new arrivals, listen to stories. Inconceivable Circus. We'll write a port report, then purchase tickets. Go to the big top. Visit the amusements. And that, I think, is all we can do on our first trip to the circus. Yes, that's all we've got. we'll stop in at New Winchester again, and on the way out, we want to turn in port reports in favor of... I favor the stovepipes for my first few turn-ins, because there are a lot of uses for ministry stamp permits and invitations of endurance. We need both of those things in order to get progressed over in Albion. Once I hit Albion, I'm going to be favoring the New Street Line, so I can begin the New Street Line plotline. Once I hit Albion, I'm also going to be trying to finish up that Albion-Eleutheria relay. It should be in its second stage of progress. I'm expecting that that relay maintains progress through captains, though it was not explicitly stated. We can also possibly see about 3 caged catches for titanium. We'll see where that goes. I need a better complement of crew. If we were up at a full 20 crew, that's really where we want to be before we go to the Trader's Wood for those plot lines. There we go. I think the Hybris Pus for the requirement of the Phlegmatic Researcher, we're not going to bother with. Get full repairs. And hired many crew. 6 more crew, that's a decent spot. Bronzewood for Port Prosper, that's a good thing to work on. That was 7 Bronzewood. Okay, so Port Prosper's in our near future, which is good. We need to go talk to them about Tacites. The encoded letter. Decode her hidden message. Late nights, a score of failed attempts, bunched up and thrown into the fire. But at last you are successful. The pages concealed not one hidden message, but 2, each complicating and confounding the other. The first is an exhortation to meet at the same place, and under the same circumstances that you last parted. That was in London, during the annual Jubilation Day festivities that commemorate the Empire's conquest of a son. The second is a sequence of letters picked from the crosswords, which alone took entire nights to complete. You scribble them down on the back of the envelope. The stars are dying. What am I clicking around for? So, the death of the stars is the nature of the truth that we are going to be seeking after. It's not the whole story. We've gotten rather poor. That can happen. I don't want to be without some walking around money. So we'll sell some things we've had in storage for a long time. We don't generally need, like, these quantities of these things anyway. Like, 47 jumbles of undistinguished souls. I haven't been able to spend that many jumbles of souls either way. So we'll sell them off. Alright, after that liquidation, back up to 4,000. Of course, I'm going to turn in port reports, and that's going to get me money either way. So, I think we'll stop in here, go by Magdalene's, and then Port Prosper, probably. We can get the Nightmare reduction in Magdalene's, although we don't really need to reduce it when it's just 1 Nightmares. It's just a chore. Turn it in over here. Ah. They're all the way up in Port Prosper. Well, we can meet with them in Port Prosper, then. I'm going to need them to get back into proper standing before we can make any real exchanges with them. It's going to be very inefficient in the meantime. We can still get the port report up at Magdalene's. Magdalene sells both kinds of things, right? Yes, fuel and supplies. It's interesting that Magdalene's export souls. I wonder if some captains turn theirs over in a desperate sort of furtive bid for comfort. Clasped jewelry box. Few sovereigns. Bit of stutter there. Ah, this will get me the ants that I need. Excuse me. Colony of ants. Thank you. Itch. Yeah. Whew. There we go. Rat Brigade, consider Magdalene's for a while. Finally, it's very red. Aren't they precious? At the keepsake market, we'll get crew, actually. Supply of souls. I don't need that very much. Check a port report. It seems as though the plot lines regarding the amenable host are only a one-time play across all captains. Something tutorialized. We get one free Nightmares treatment. Moments of inspiration remain unchanged. It gets more expensive every time you have to do it. I suppose I will pick up these souls. It's a 15 sovereigns profit to sell these flatly. 15 sovereigns times 7 is still not very exciting, considering the profit we turn around on other more interesting things that we have an easy time picking up. I'm going to cruise through here and see if we can't pick a fight with some guests. Okay. Doesn't seem as though we've got any guests or bull cantankeries about, not just yet. That's way off. It dodged. It's a giant thing and it dodged. Okay, there's that dealt with. Precious stones is always just sovereigns. Just destroy this to get more sky stories. It had not a lot left, even just a slight bit of explosion there. There's nothing to do here. Not with our veils being so low. There are a few different interactions with high veils there. Moving on to Port Prosper. You know, I suppose I'll need to go to Albion to continue the plot line. Maybe I should just maybe I should shoot for that directly. You know, there's not really that much reason not to do that. I suppose there's quite a lot of benefits. Yeah. We'll get fuel and supplies by turning in the port reports here in Port Prosper. We don't really need to do the other things. I'm certain the plot's going to bring us back to the Reach later, so we don't have to worry about clearing everything out and getting it out of the way and leveling up the character and all that stuff. We'll just stop in here, do a few things, and be on our way. Listen to the parsimonious chairman's offer. I'll accept. Tackety nameplates. We'll write a port report here at Port Prosper. Messenger greets the station. He's asking about Long Passage, Leak Industrialist Estate. This is about going to Albion to retrieve his long-lost love. Let's see. I will try to extract a higher reward. The contact in Sky Barnett can help you find her. You have to get there first. Feast of the Red Saint. I'll fraternize with everyone. I'll take a factory tour. Admire it because I'm good at admiring. Turn over this bronze wood. Bumps up our stovepipes fortunes by 10. So this should see things come back to about level. At the other company house, I'll deliver port reports, which is going to give us 3 fuel tools, 2 supplies, a pittance of sovereigns. You get only 10 sovereigns each time, but now you get fuel and supplies instead as well. And these exchanges have gotten really dire, so we're not going to worry about that until things level off. Transport for settlers. We'll make an offering and bring somebody on board. I think there's not much else to do here at the moment. Not really, unless we want to bring on this crockery. I will. We don't have a tremendous excess of crockery, and it seems to be requested fairly often in Eleutheria. So here at the transit relay, we will pick up the impounded package, but hilariously, we're just going to keep going through the relay. Check on the delayed package. Collected the goods. Present ourselves to customs. Nothing to declare. Not going to do any smuggling. Do not have a lot of veils. First class travel to Albion with our only ministry stamp permit. Thank you very much. I don't know where I got that permit from, but it's a good thing I had it. I'll need 3 more permits to pick up the half glass empty, and I'll want more permits that I can come and go freely. Given that we left here without permits and without invitations to Perdurance, we might be a little more delayed on some things. I only need about 1 spare invitation to Perdurance to clear the plot line related to... Actually, I might need 2 spare. So we'll need 1 invitation to Perdurance to clear out... Stop in at Brabazon for a port report, if nothing else. We'll need 1 spare invitation to Perdurance at some point to pick up Wilma. Wilma's a quick, easy pickup if we're doing the plotline for the Ratty Brigade. The other bit that we'll need at some point would be to begin the plotline with the Glass Eye that needs to be brought to Brabazon. And that can require... That may require more than 1 attempt, because you have to get a bit of a specific outcome for it. And it's possible to fail some tests, or a partial success can get you thrown off. Alright. We've got the Clay Conductor here, which we can recruit for 3 Sky Stories. I will say a few words. He costs Sky Stories to bring on, but you get Sky Stories for bringing him on, which is hilarious. Pass off. We'll join a tour. Carriage clock. So Brabazon has fully reset, which means that we have the opportunity to get a royal dispensation. Finger and watch, not much there. Rock breaking. Equivocate. Lead the tour. Wire request. Agree with apparent delight. He hands me a barrel of hours, which I can use immediately to join the tour. I have to do the first 2 stops of the tour before the first 1 stop before I can sneak away from the group. Here we write a port report. Yeah. We will bribe an overseer. This actually gets us some much-needed Tales of Terror. We're very short on Tales of Terror. Spend a sky story. Gain a savage secret. I will provide them with fuel. And rations. I can meet with the leader. Out of time. Whoops. I got the port report. I don't actually need much more than that, I think. In Little Nice. Flying on a bench. We will converse with the governor, and we'll get a little bit of tea. Okay, yeah, we're back to the non-revolutionary version of the governor. Okay. It will generally take more resources to see this done. I'll recruit some crew, getting up to 18 out of 20. Alright, onward to London. So we want to go to London, check for opportunities. We can possibly continue our search for the truth. A medical emergency. Oh! He appears to be in some distress. Indeed, hair sprouts like invasive weed from every follicle in his body, forcing its way out. Huh. Well, let's hold on to that for study. Settler's exceedingly singular misfortune may yet prove a great boon to the fledgling science of interstellar pathology. I have gained a condemned experiment. That's very valuable. Those with hearty stomachs can assist with a thorough examination later. For now, the mop and broom. I didn't actually expect it to be that valuable, but it's quite random. I wonder if the wit and vinegar plot line has to restart, or if it's just available from here on out. Actually, I didn't see the Midnight Roses available when I was in Titania, so I suppose that is not routinely available. Interesting. So if you want to smuggle, you have to re-ingratiate yourself with the smuggling community on any given captain. It wasn't the worst thing to do. It's just Albion reach back. But that is a bother. That being said, once you're experienced in Sunless Seas, the common wisdom is that your first trek in Sunless Seas should always be out towards the far northeast. Sunless Seas had something that was referred to as, I believe it was like a beginner's luck or something like that, which is when you first set into port, at a given port, once per captain, you can get some kind of a boon related on what port you put in at. And if you waited on spending that and made sure your first port landing was in the far northeast of the map, which is a guaranteed port. Oh yeah, there's the Gloomy Middleman. He wants to start that up. Okay, so it's not started up. Ah, the Analytical Princess. Its duty outlasts the captain's death. It smiles. Oh, it's just so... The princess's soft skin still cocoons the suitor. The strained lips beam as they walk silently aboard, happy to serve. The princess does not take the money. Have they forgotten already? Well, we will put her in charge of things because it's a bigger bonus. Jubilation Day. During Jubilation Day, London celebrates its conquest of the sun that once ruled Albion. Clergy of the new sequence, backed by exultant choirs, preach from every balcony, exhorting the light and order of the man-made clockwork sun. Banners flutter from state buildings. Hosannas are sung to the Queen. Fireworks crack in the sky, dying in brief blazes. The last time you saw the staunch Verger, you attended the festivities together. I'll watch the burning of a gilded effigy. In Hyde Park, where avenues are lined with bronzewood saplings broad as old oaks. A bronzewood sapling is broad as an old oak. They are quite singularly large. Flames lick at the King of Hours' shins. His guilt peels and blackens. When the fire reaches his waist and one arm cracks and falls into the conflagration, the crowd cheers. When you were here with the staunch Verger, she seemed distracted. Once you caught her watching you, the firelight gold on her face. When you asked what the matter was, she said nothing and turned away. A bag of rubbery lumps. They don't taste like they did back when London lay in its gloomy cavern below the earth. Presumably one can't get the lumps, but lump substitutes have been invented. It's best not to speculate upon what hides within their crunchy batter. You've been chewing this one for some time, for example, and the less you know, the better. When you were here with the staunch Verger, she bought 1 bag of lumps for you and 2 for herself. She considered herself a connoisseur. Soon, the clocks will chime 11, the hour you parted. The two of you had walked to the edge of Southwark Isle in order to escape the crowds. London sprawls across plates of skyrock connected with bridges, funiculars, stairs, and, in less salubrious cases, ladders. Southwark is one of the higher plates. A simple railing discourages you from its edge. The clockwork sun is behind you, dimmed for the night. Stretching before you are darker skies studded with far, fierce stars. Below, where the lower, poorer districts are caked in smog, the sounds of raucous celebrations continue. The clocks begin to chime. Your friend is not here. You find a bench and wait. Fireworks flare and whistle. The clock strikes 12 at precisely the same second. The horological office keeps them to perfect time. Still there is no sign of your friend. The clocks chime 1. She's not coming. Your friend missed your appointed meeting, tracked down where they have been living in London. I'll speak to mutual acquaintances. You focus your efforts on the churches and congregations, both those of the new sequence and those of the more traditional, less excitable creeds. No one has seen your friend in some time, and not at all since the fire. The fire? Apparently, there was a fire in the building where she rented rooms. No bodies were found, but she hasn't been seen since. You're able to secure the address. I suspect the correspondence may have been involved. The building your friend lived in was a narrow lodging house divided into too many apartments. Now, it is a blackened husk, still standing only because it's wedged between houses on either side. The constabulary have boarded it up. A pair of homeless gentlemen occupying the opposite doorway are happy to tell you about it. We saw it. They said it was a gas fire. Burned blue, didn't it, George? Ah, says George. Blue. You understand that your friend lived in the garret. Prying aside the boards, you enter. The fire stink claws at your throat. Thin stairs, warped and blackened, lead upwards. But when you set foot on the first step, it collapses. You're forced to inch up, testing each one as you go. The roof has collapsed, exposing the garret to the air. Blackened beams jut like ribs from a slew of tumbled tiles. Search the ruins, but carefully. You unearth a few burned pages from the rubble. None are untouched by the fire, and many are blotted by rain, but you manage to pick out a handful of gnomic phrases. Constellations and conjunctions. Chrysanthemum, amaranthine, nepentine, liberation. Meg, the fire that follows, the courtesies bloodhound. King of hours, green regent, consult the rolls of ash. This latter one has the bedeviled didact's name written at the top. If Meg is Spatchcocker Meg, that's two of your acquaintances from the Promise of Days named in these papers. Is this the important work they were helping the Staunch Verger with? It's time they talked to you. We'll have to go back to New Winchester then. I would like to hire a handful of crew. Okay, it's been less than 15 days. Alright. Let's see. While we're here, crockery for the Macabre Counselor. That's good. Bronzewood for Parliament is okay, but I don't like going to Parliament. It's very far away. So, they need how much? 3 crockery? That's not going to be very profitable, but we'll see to it anyway. Let's see. We're fully repaired. I don't think we can learn much about this. I've heard about the new street line. Okay. So you have to have heard about the new street line in order to turn in port reports there. So that's an option now. Bit of that. I think then I'll be going out to... let me grab my speciometers while I'm in Albion. We don't need quite that much hold space anyhow. It's decadent. So I'll want to visit with the Macabre Counselor while I'm down in the Graves. The Most Serene Mausoleum. So we'll visit with the Counselor, and that's going to give me the request regarding Perdurance, but I don't really care about seeing to that at this point. The Wit and Vinegar Lumber Company. Popper's Coffins. Terror is low. Can I get something? Investigate a mysterious gleaming. An otherworldly artifact. Handy. We might benefit from having a bundle of those. Now, there is one other thing to consider. We may want to make a delivery of Bronzewood to the northwest before we leave Albion. Or I could just go directly to New Winchester. No wrong answer. I want to get the third shot off before they have a firing solution. Done. Ah, we're not good at this. Oh, a bit of terror. Picking apart grave robbers, grisly business, I suppose. It is as solemn and quiet as an empty church. Most serene indeed. Escort inside amongst the dead. Introduce ourselves. Port report. have enough academic affiliation for that, and I don't think we can get there. No, we don't have the right assembly of officers at the moment. We don't have that many officers either way. Speak with a luminous cardinal. Favor with the Deathless will allow me to meet the Macabre Counselor. We will accept the commission. She'll give us 3 invitations for durance. I will attempt to speak with the Dismal Chamberlain. That will exhaust my favor. That's okay. 3 crockery. This should get us a new run of favor. No, an invitation for durance. That's useful. Very valuable Navaratine gemstones. We like to see that. Some future prospect for offloading those gemstones will be very valuable. Sometimes you can offload gemstones in the Most Serene Mausoleum. They tend to like gemstones and Thirsty Bombazine. It's actually one of the more potent ports to be selling to. Here's an errant, glorious dreadnought. Graves. Graves as far as you can see. Oh, there's one such grave. Always want to be tagging these. They can get us really valuable things sometimes. Visions of the Heavens, very useful. We'll want to build up a few Visions of the Heavens before we wind up making our first trip to Eleutheria, whenever that happens. The background music here is interesting. Once when you listen past the ambience, it has the sound of a, perhaps a bit of a far-off church organ. That'll deal with him. Still not good at searching them, but we'll still get a few sovereigns. We do also get a little bit of experience every time we engage in combat. It's part of why sitting around blowing up bees is a decent use of time on a novice captain. You can just kind of park yourself and blast a lot of chorister bees, and it works out. Come to think of it, actually. There is the plot line at the Well of the Wolf that we could go to the Well of the Wolf and start chatting with the devils there, just to get started on the notion of understanding their dance. The Abstemious Devil plotline in Carillon would be good to take care of. I think that starts in Carillon? Perhaps it doesn't. There was another devil in Warlebury Juxtamountain. No, there's something Bohemian. Burrower below is displeased, he informs you. She expects a sacrifice. If you wish it, he will arrange it. I will decline. We will find our own way through. You take the helm and order half steam. Your engine crawls forward, vast shapes looming around you like giants in the fog. Sky rocks, ancient ruins, slumbering leviathans. You steer a precarious course between them. After an hour, the air clears. The fogs part like a music hall curtain, and the stage of the sky is revealed ahead. You're free for now. But we did not lose the burrower's attention with that. Ah, Auntie! I will employ our aunt as a quartermaster. We'll begin learning about our inconvenient aunt. Now, to begin with the aunt, I believe is Tales of Terror. Very good. Converse. She needs to go to Carillon to get started. Good. While we're at it, conversation with the clay conductor. Require a gourd of chorister nectar. So we'll withdraw one of our several gourds of chorister nectar, and we'll move right along with that. A restoration of your voice. He wants to visit the Most Serene Mausoleum. I was just there. I'm very sorry. Crates of munitions for Brabazon. That's simple because that's where we're going. Munitions are requested fairly frequently. Looks like I finally managed to run down. I had something like 40 munitions a while back. Are we able to hire on crew? Yes, full up. Let's see. Fuel up a bit. I want to get brought on at the Royal Horologist's office. I'm a High Mirrors captain, so I can actually learn about picking apart wefts of time. But we need to get ourselves started on that. Even though we can blow up this dreadnought, we don't pick fights in London, because enduring dreadnoughts are small compared to glorious dreadnoughts, and we need to make absolutely certain we don't piss off a glorious dreadnought. It'll be very expensive to patch up our ship afterwards. We could also die, despite using the Agravain. Ministry of Public Decency. I'll check in for an appointment. Well, the support reports, I believe I only have the 2. The strength of the sun is currently at 73, good to know. We need stamped permits to go back and forth. And that's just the basics. At the ministries, we'll check in with the horological office. We'll inquire about employment. Take the quick test. The time in Albion is the correct time. Let's see. Brabazon arrives at 11:30. He left, if it took exactly 1 hour, then the train would have departed at 10:30. He falls asleep in the middle of proctoring the test. We are now a royal horologist. We have an assignment in Brabazon. At the ministries, the Office of Works, offer our services. They want thirsty bombazine and uncanny specimens. We have neither. It's a little difficult for a starting captain to satisfy offers at the Office of Works because they tend to require a lot of they require a lot out of your non-inherited possessions, your intangible stuff. So I'm going to head over to Brabazon, do that work for the horological office, and then I might take a turn around, or I might go back to the Reach. Haven't decided as of yet. We need to do 2 jobs for the horological office before they will give us the necessary piece of equipment for unraveling wefts of loose time. Please don't. Whatever. A little bit of damage. I need to consider a plan for dinner. I should have set out something to cook, but I didn't. And now it's more or less too late to do so. I'll probably be ordering in. It's not that I necessarily lack foodstuffs at home, but it's frozen. And I'm not going to microwave defrost it. I don't like doing that. It is an option. Now that I have 20 crew, I can probably make my way over to the Trader's Wood and complete some of the plot lines there. That can get a few of my intangibles back over to where they need to be. One thing that's nice about Glorious Dreadnoughts, I've never seen a Glorious Dreadnought hosting guests. I must say, the first captain that I was bringing around to both Albion and Eleutheria encountered a whole lot of nonsense that I have not encountered since. Investigating the clocks. We will correct the time and date. We're very good at this. We've been promoted to apprentice second class. Pass over their munitions. And there's a bargain here for munitions. Go figure. Couple sky stories for attempting to converse. We can sit on a bench in Little Nice to get a terror reduction. Oh, no, can't write a port report in Little Nice. You don't get anything accurate there. Ah, I have reclined on a bench too recently. Carriage clock. Yada yada. We were very close to meeting with the leader last time, so we should be able to do that trivially this time. We'll get a port report very quickly. We will meet with the workers' leader. Talk to you. How can I assist? Blackmail material. More blackmail material. Okay. All out of time. So I can now go straight to the Revolutionaries' hideout, but they really need permits and things that I don't have in order to proceed that plotline. Hop back on out of there. And I'm just going to go right back to the Reach. Even if this paying for transit turns out to be a little bit much of the back and forth, that is okay. We want to stick along the main plot line and make a lot of progress. Until we have the more challenging bits of the plot to see to, there's not much point in dilly-dallying. Let's keep going until we hit a real roadblock. Present to customs. First class travel to the Reach will reduce our terror. And it is now time for me to refill my coffee. Straighten things out a bit. You know, given my choice of attire and the fact that I've chosen a black mug, it was a little difficult to tell how much coffee I was actually pouring in. I had need to pause for a moment and verify that I was not about to overflow. Let's see. Transport to settlers. We lost our previous settler because he exploded in hair. Very unfortunate. Lustrum. Got it. There's nothing else for us to do here. We can stock up. We want to be a little fuel forward. Alright. Let's make our way to Trader's Wood by way of Magdalene's. We want to be a little fuel forward because we can buy supplies in Trader's Wood, but we cannot buy fuel in Trader's Wood. And it is both fuel and supplies that are required for us to conduct expedition. That and crew. We can crew safely with 6 or more. So we can commit 10 crew at a time to conducting expeditions. It's possible, I think, to cut through all of your expeditions in a single visit, though because there are 3 expeditions, that would require 6 fuel. It's a little difficult to be carrying when you head over there. If we did not have these munitions in the hold, we could have been carrying additional fuel instead. If we put in there with something like 13 fuel, it would actually be quite simple to get through all of our expeditions in one go, assuming we didn't lose an entire set of crew. If you fully fail an expedition, you will get slapped with about 40 terror, and you'll lose 10 crew. It's unfortunate that I know that. I had to find out firsthand. What do we have here? A bit more supply, a Vulcan tankery. Oh. There was a little one, too. We'll extract its heart. This gets us a barrel of ours. Precious stones. You don't get much out of basic cantankeries either way. We'll actually go for sky stories here. Sky stories aren't very valuable, but so long as our count of them is so tremendously low, we do need more. This reminds me, I do need to put in at Port Avon in order to enable hunting, so that I can gather 3 hunting trophies. The hunts that are actually required are quite simple. The first 3 hunts are a Cantankery, a Scribe Spinster, and Chorister Bee. All of the simple enemies of the Reach. The standard enemies. Not guests. I'm going to put in here, and we'll go for the terror reduction and a new port report. Keepsake Market has an old journal, sure. Savage Secret, that's good to get. Terror treatments, we will request treatment for guilt. And we will meet with someone from our past. My child, have you been keeping to all that I taught you? In the House of Small Comfort, we'll get a port report. Very good. Pick up more. We could pick up more fuel here. But we don't have that much space. Oh well. Ouch. Okay. I'm gonna take apart this, there are 2 tackly ships here, I see. There's 1 tackly ship here. And it's angry for some reason. It's already gone. Nameplates, please. I'll actually jettison these barrels of ours. I don't need them right now, and I have something like 50 in the bank. Plunder the stores. We'll give up on 1 supply, because we can buy it shortly. So that's a bit of our, that's a case of our hold being a little overstocked. But it's alright. If I have 8 fuel still in place when I put into the Trader's Wood, I might be able to one-shot the plotline. That being said, it's going to take another 4 or 5 fuel to run back over to the Regent's Grave and then leave. Oh. Bit of stutter. Captain's cabin. This usually gets us otherworldly artifacts or gossip or secrets. Got a bit of the Peacock Wind. over to Somerset Camp. This is a very profitable plotline when we can play it through, not only because we'll get a Searing Enigma for the full completion, but also because along the way we're required to pass various tests, and the Mirror's version of those tests will generally give us some other cool stuff. Also, because our effective mirrors is like 77, it's absurdly high. We have 2 completed officers that both give us a bonus to mirrors. It's almost impossible for us to create a captain who is bad at mirrors challenges at this point. The real thing for me to be aware of is I want every single captain to be good at hearts from this point on, because we want to be able to use this weapon, the Wrath of Heaven. A respite from labor. I'm not going to worry about completing that just yet. They have a bargain on munitions. There are always bargains on munitions in various places. Go to the campfire. We have to hand them off to some supplies because we are not an academic, nor do we have proper academic inclinations. Ask how we can help. This unlocks the expeditions to the Deep Wood. Port report is written at the Parting Glade. Expeditions into the Woods Deep. We will prepare a large one. And we will go to the Steward's Font. We'll listen to the voices. Get a sky story. We'll search for another route. Gain a tale of terror. We are at the Steward's Font. It's that fast. Translating the sigil of the scythe. There's a reference to the giggling place. I'll mark it on your map. And then we immediately begin a large expedition to the giggling place. We will brave the storm. Terror has fallen. Listen to the voices. Gets us a sky story. We will draw the beasts out. That one's actually a little challenging. Get an uncanny specimen. Search for another route around the Whispering Bog. A tale of terror, and we're at the giggling place. We will go alone. Gained a vision of the heavens. Enter the hollow. I believe we lose one of each thing for this because we went alone. That is okay. Speak to the classicist. We will ask about the Barrows of Silence. Their theory falls. Return to the camp. So if we set out one more time, we'll be left with 1 3/4 fuel. That's enough to make it to the next place. That's enough to make it to Port Avon. Expeditions. Large expedition. To the Barrows of Silence. That started us off on a rest option. Okay. We gain an extra fuel. We search for another route around. This is the hardest of the 3 challenges, so it's a little trickier, and we're in the Barrows of Silence already. Here you will be silent. We gag ourselves, gag our crew, and we go further into the circle. We approach the hole at the center of the Barrow Circle. Our power shared, our gift given, our law defied. We have raised you up, and so shall we cast you down. And we go. Various theories about Charlemagne. We consult the scholars on opening the gate. I had the wrong thing there. We can only take one scholar with us. I will take the feckless theologian. He will accompany us to the regent's grave. Alright, that is all of that done. We can now go to the regent's grave and complete that task. But first, I'm going to go to Port Avon to restock. Then after going to Port Avon, I'm actually going to put into New Winchester and check for prospects. Since prospects are on a timer, completing the plot line at the Trader's Wood, you can cause your captain to stay for a year and a day within the Trader's Wood. This cycles prospects, so it is best to make sure you've cleared out the active prospects before you continue. Come to think of it, they also had those munitions on offer as a bargain. I could have picked those up. Dang it. Bargains are also a time-based cycle, so I might be able to make good on that on my way back through. A crewman's observation. Here, you've been keeping up with the dailies, Captain. Passenger from Port Prosper is a criminal. Noted, that happens sometimes. This person wanted to go to Lustrum, I believe. Let me see. Delivering a settler, Lustrum. Okay. So we can either drop them off at Lustrum, or we can turn them back into Port Prosper. As far as I'm concerned, their criminal nature gives us nothing but versatility. I'm not obligated. Putting in at Port Avon. We have a little bit of gossip to work with. Port Avon, welcome. Ooh, write a port report. Going to the Nowhere Inn. I will intercede in a mushroomy matter and settle the bar tab for the Blummigan. And then I will speak to a short-sighted cryptozoologist who would like to go where? She wants to go to Hybris. Alright. I think we need to appreciate an amount of cider so that we can pick up the plot line about... There should be a plot line here regarding the Chiropteran Hoarder. But I'm not seeing it. Ah, there it is. The Auroral Sommelier asking about Hesperian cider. There we go. We can follow up on that in London. Quiet day in Port Avon will get us cheap fuel, and the rest we'll have to pay normal price fuel. That is a decent enough amount of stuff. And we'll spend the rest of our welcome at the ruins, enjoying the picturesque surroundings. Ah, we are not fully capable of doing that, I think. Worn out our welcome at the dock. Have some gossip. I've got 5 gossip. Let's share about 3 of it for more welcome. At the ruins, what was my actual chance on that? It's 100%. Okay, so we either get nothing or a vision of the heavens. Seven. Alright, that's well and good enough. Let's put in at New Winchester. Once we put in at New Winchester, we can progress regarding the truth. Possibly pick up some prospects. And then, I think, make our way back to examine the Regent's Grave and the Parsifal. I think there's some kind of test regarding the Parsifal. We might need to be carrying munitions on us in order to bypass a check. I'm trying to remember how that works. I think that's the way of it. At the end of the Parsifal, we'll pick up Percy Blythe. There are various places you can drop him off. We will likely seek to drop him off just in... Well, I'm trying to think of where I have and haven't dropped off Percy Blythe. I don't think I've dropped him off in Hybris before, so I could examine that. At the Bazaar, seeds for Magdalene's. We'll pick up the Bronzewood for Port Prosper. Looks like that's repeated. I might as well pick this up, although I don't think I'm even going to do it. I'm just going to take it off the list so that I don't have to look at it anymore. I'm thinking about the caged catches for Titania. The seasoned captains, the plucky Baroness, the bedeviled Didact, the masked citizen, and Spatchcocker Meg have been assisting the staunch Verger with her investigations into the fate of the stars, but your friend has disappeared, and a mysterious fire claimed her lodgings and research. Your attempt to find her has reached a dead end. By continuing her research, you might learn what happened. It's time they put their cards on the table. Their faces darken as you recount your experiences in London. Intolerable, the masked citizen says, knuckles white around the stem of their glass. Of course we'll help, Meg grunts. The Didact leans forward, his narrow face grim. Understand that each of us only has a piece of the puzzle. Our mutual friend insisted upon it. Only she would have the whole. She, and now you. Indeed, we have each been pursuing a different strand of investigation, says the Baroness. Now we'll share them with you. Perhaps you can help us pursue them. Spatchcocker Meg is investigating the fire that follows. The Devil Didact is investigating the politics of heaven. The masked citizen is investigating the courtesy. The Baroness is investigating how stars die. As we know, the suns, or more properly, judgments, are the regents and legislature of heaven. They establish the natural laws that govern existence. With the assistance of our friend and the Royal Society's admirable telescope, I've been able to formulate some initial observations. Firstly, the stars demonstrate social groupings. These have been classified into constellations and conjunctions. Constellations are small and local, comparable perhaps to kin groups or clans, a sun's extended family, if you will. Conjunctions are rather grander. There are only a handful of them, perhaps 3 or 4. It's possible they are confederacies or nations. To say more, I require more data, observations on and relics of the heavens, 2 otherworldly artifacts, and 2 visions of the heavens. The phrase was mentioned in the notes you retrieved from your friend's lodgings. Pretty sure it's a monster, Meg says, wiping her nose on her sleeve. A fire that's a monster. Did some asking around? If you want to know about a monster, ask another monster. That's what I've been doing. I've been told it's a living flame, and it burns blue. Sound familiar? You remember the description of the mysterious fire that consumed your friend's lodging? Yeah, our friend was afraid of the fire. She was always a clever girl. Anyway, next on my list for a chat is Mr. Menagerie. He's harmless enough for a bat-faced aberration, but he don't talk for cheap. 4 caged caches should help replenish his stock. Let me know when you're ready to go. Meg is ready to depart when you are. Okay. What about the death of sons? Tea, port, and an array of biscuits await you in her drawing room. The Baroness helps herself to all 3, of course. Let me bring you up to speed. I've been looking into what it would take to kill a son. We know 2 local sons have died, that of Albion and that of the Reach. Our dear staunch Verger and I were preparing an autopsy. She acquired a sample of, what would be the term? Post-necrotic celestial tissue, son's blood, Anyway, a sample of that from the remains of Albion's son. That leaves the Reach. She offers you a plate. More biscuits? Why not? Oh. No son's corpse in the Reach? Is there not a son's corpse? So then Faith's Fall is not the corpse of a son. They're good, aren't they? As I was saying, I've ordered some specialized equipment from Portsmouth House. Unfortunately, they've run into complications during development. I put together some material that should help unstick them. She indicates a trunk of papers and components. But I imagine they'll need more if they're to complete it soon enough. Perhaps you can help? Royal Society, talk to the energetic mechanic. That's in Albion. I'm short one otherworldly artifact on that. What about the courtesy? The phrase the courtesy appeared several times in the scraps you recovered from your friend's lodgings. Citizen is already immersed in an investigation. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten very far, they confess. Is it a person, an organization, a process? My unusual sources are ignorant or reticent, which is in itself informative, of course. I suspect the courtesy is not merely little known, but actively concealed. A conspiracy. Then what is your next step? We should try our luck at Pan. It is a place where many secrets come to roost, and people there are willing to discuss topics others fear to. Let me know when you're ready to depart. Okay, taking them to Pan, we'll do later. 4 caged catches we've got. Meg whistles as she walks onto your locomotive. Very nice, very nice. Classy. She ensconces herself in a cabin. Mr. Menagerie moves about a lot. Old Abbott, I suppose. He leaves notes so you can find him. She pulls a dog-eared card from her inner pocket. It reads, "We go to the Messenger Corps, that squirming ruin of tumbled spires. I don't think the fire what follows is the master. I think it's the servant, or the hound. Maybe Menagerie can shed some light." The Messenger Corps. Is that referring to the House of Rods and Chains? If so, that's very obnoxious. I usually count on that nerd to be somewhere easier to get to. A messenger corpse with spires. I don't think it's going to be anything clear about it, right? Soiree at Carillon for her. We can go to Carillon, possibly. We've got business there. Terror is low. Prospecting in Lustrum. Mr. Menagerie has left London. Okay. Okay. What do I want to see to right now? We don't need this. I'm going to take the 3 caged catches down to Titania and then go to Carillon. That's kind of some quick business. For lead beaters, we'd gotten the ants. I'm not going to get the Hybris pus. Is their third requirement Chorister wings? Because I'll probably get Chorister wings passively. Yes, wings of a Chorister bee. Okay, then let's go to the Apoidian Gardens and back to lead beaters so that we can get the Searing Enigma out of the Apoidian Gardens. We'll want to stop by Palmyre's on the way so that we can progress that line and get that started. So that means we'll be doing Palmyre's, lead beaters, Apoidian, possibly lead beaters again, then Titania, then probably back to New Winchester. And I need to keep an eye out for Mr. Menagerie. I'm not sure if Mr. Menagerie moves without you talking to him. I think you need to talk to him in order to get him to move. But if we can find a note about him, about where he's left to, we should be able to chase him. But having 4 caged catches when you talk to him is an interesting little challenge. This is still easier than going to Pan. Well, not easier, but I don't want to go to Pan yet because I want to complete the relay first. The Albion Eleutheria relay before I do any Eleutheria business. Oh! This homestead is plated in a patchwork of corrugated iron. As you land, the barrel of a rifle pokes out from a boarded window and fires, kicking up a spray of grass at your feet. How unfriendly. I'll not stand for that. Return fire. Partial success. Your rounds ring off the house's iron skin and find gaps between its makeshift plates. There's an agonized scream, a spray of blood, the sound of a gun's chamber locking. They must be on the verge of surrender, surely. Then you smell burning. Someone's lit the steading ablaze. A door slams. You can see figures running through the smoke. I'll pursue the villains. You order your crew forward, racing around the smoldering homestead and through the billowing smoke. There, a shadow ahead. A bullet whizzes through the choking smog. You're lucky. Your signaler is not. Blood runs through the smoke. There's more gunfire. There are more bodies. You recover a hefty bag of coinage from the slightest corpse. I haven't had that happen before. Interesting. Back into the circus. Should be simple matters at the circus. We need to buy another round of tickets. We'll get another port report. From new arrivals, we will listen to their stories for the terror reduction. Port report. Purchase tickets. There's no harm in trying to bring somebody aboard, so we might do something like that. Attend another performance. Speak to the ringmaster is now available. I will offer my services as a clown. Gaining 5 stories. We can go behind the tents now. Go to the ringmaster's caravan. He's going to ask us to do some things. Considering where we are, flyers or costumes is usually the easiest thing. The acrobat's twin is always in Lustrum, I believe. I've got some business in Lustrum I can tag on at the end. They're at New Winchester this time. All right. That's easier. Somewhat. Try for crew. Landed one. Cool. That's our business at Palmyre's for now. Unfortunately for Palmyre's, we do have to stop back every time for a turn-in before we can get the new leg. So we can't work on anything simultaneously. It takes like a minimum of 7 trips to Palmyre's to finish it up. 2 initial trips. I suppose it's only 6 trips. Because you'll need to come back there 4 times to get each of the individual missions turned in and pick up a new one. No, because on the second trip, you can pick up the first mission. So it would be then a minimum of 5 trips to Palmyre's to complete the entire line. I can hear buzzing, which might get us our Chorister B trophy. Let's quickly take that apart. We'll get a pristine pair of wings for the research. That's right, I forgot I still needed the wings. Interesting little conflict. So, I want to take both sides out. Ministry monitors are very simple. Alright, well, let's commence the looting. I think, yes, mirrors gives us ministry secrets very easily. Charred stovepipe nameplate. So we don't have the materials we need for the up converters, but we can always get a few savage secrets, visions of heaven, gossip, various things. Plunder the stores here. Fuel and supplies both. There's another there should be another ministry monitor here. There was one in the conflict. Way to go. Excuse me. Yes, you. Be gone. Take that out. Ministry secrets. Salon stewed gossip. We need to build up a big nest egg of gossip and secrets and visions of the heavens. All of that stuff. If we had a big nest egg of those things, then going after ministry monitors would allow us to up-convert that to another resource. Funnily enough, that is kind of the foundation of Fallen London, is getting massive amounts of basic resources and then converting them up. There's actually a singular plotline in Fallen London about a fairly basic resource, and it's basically just a giant game of double or nothing, where you can continually upgrade this. I forgot to change out my speciometer. Oh well. You can continually upgrade this singular resource at a 50-50 shot every single time. And you can go in with a whole bunch of this, and when you take the test, let's say you have 10, it performs the 50-50 check, so you could wind up with like 5 of the next thing. Join a hunting party. Failure. What happens on a failure for this one? Just a little bit of terror. Okay, that's fine. Report. We could get seeds if we cared to. Albert Sedil, we take a trip into the reserve with the ornithologist. At Capabilities Inquest, we will turn in our research, which is the wings of a chorister bee and ants from a homestead. We'll let them get to work. We'll have to come back here later. So for this one, you have to make the initial trip. Then every time you make a turn-in trip, you have to wait 15 days before you can get the next listing. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 7 visits to see to this entire line of stuff. But once you're done, it turns into an even more profitable interaction, because he gives you a longer list of stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go to the Apoidian Gardens. If the peacock winds are going to cut us through on this direction, we're just going to loop back around the other way. I'm not going to go through that headwind. We should hit a level up at the gardens. So the gardens has a once per captain option to explore there. We'll get a Searing Enigma out of the deal. It requires a moment of inspiration to go for, but we have plenty of those. I might be leaning forward a bit much, as I'm building up a lot of shoulder tension. Ah, a little bit of something. So we'll always have a series of chorister bees back here. We'll grab our hunting trophy, and we'll start recovering a bit of nectar. Probably walk out of here with about 4 or 5 nectar if we want. Taking a facet. We'll pick up on, I think... Let's see, Spirit for the Great Game. Bell tolls. Ah, yes, we do want to get up on this. You have foreseen your own death. It did not please you. Perhaps you saw it in a dream. Perhaps a medium read it on your palm. When death comes, where will he find you? In the cold skies, most certainly. So we want to take that plot line because it will enable us to later bottle our own death. And a bottled death will give us an extra connection. So we'll put in here at the Apoidian Gardens. We want to... Oh, can we only play that once ever? Okay, I suppose we cannot make good on that again after having done that on a previous captain. Interesting. Ouch. Well, I'm not leaving here without an absolutely ridiculous quantity of nectar. I'll need to stop missing, though. There we go. Partial success is just sovereigns. There's nectar. I'm going to grab one nectar at the cost of jettisoning supply. Ouch. And we'll make our way back on out of here. The amount of nectar you actually collect back here is frankly absurd. You can easily come back into here and get, you know, just 10 or 12 of the stuff. Absolutely full hold. If your mirrors is good. Okay, so the Apoidian Gardens is a once per lineage trick. I thought that was a once per captain plot. Alright, we'll stop back in at Lead Beaters again, and then over to Titania where we'll turn in these caged catches. Actually, I suppose I can just go through Lead Beaters. There's not much reason to stick around there. I might buy another supply up, just because. Can I buy supplies in Carolon? I can buy supplies in Carolon. I don't need to stop anywhere else. Titania, I think, actually has both. But I'll ask Titania about defenses so that I don't have to risk crew when I go there anymore. So they'll no longer charge me a trickle of sovereigns to continue existing. Also, I've been wondering if there's some reward for actually completing Titania's rebuilding. Yeah. Always frantically checking the map. Can't resist. Let's see, let's see. So I've been playing quite a lot in the past few days of a game called Across the Obelisk, which is a charming little deck builder roguelite. It has enough complexity that you can actually play it with multiplayer with up to 4 people, because you run in a party and you build 4 decks at once, and you can try to build for synergy between all of the different decks, which is very interesting. You should build for synergy. You'll perform a lot better. So that has been quite delightful to play alongside a friend. He and I have been going 2 and 2 on the character control. I only recently got my first win. I think he did as well. So that's been a lot of fun. I've only barely started to get into the Ascensions, and it does seem quite challenging. It ramps challenge quite quickly. The game is kind of built around the expectation that you will die a lot until you can build up the kind of your roguelite lingering power-ups. Yes, that's been a lot of fun. I'm wondering if maybe I'll bring it on stream at some point, but I don't know how engaging that is unless I'm perusing the very top end of the difficulty. Maybe, if I do stream it, I'll spend a bit of time on the Discord for the game and see if anybody from the Discord wants to, jump in and watch a stream. That's what I like to do with a lot of games. I'll cruise by the Discord. We're gonna lose some people. I'll cruise by the Discord, see if anybody wants to hang out for that. Port report. We'll need to do 10 sovereigns on port repairs. As for their next upgrade, anti-bee defenses. The soporific poison from your caged catches prove as effective as the rhapsodic mayor had hoped. Mixed with Titania's pollen, they lure the hive from the public areas, and soon the Chorister Hive's scouts find themselves slipping into restful sleep. The mayor clicks her fingers. Get some ropes, she orders. I have an idea. You have finished building Titania. Each new captain in this lineage can enjoy the boons you've made available, as well as take advantage of bargains and prospects from your buildings. Cool. Oh, that's right. I get other bargains and prospects from the buildings I have here. I forgot about that. Literature is pretty valuable. Even just buying it is a 30 sovereign gain. Because you can sell it off for 100 sovereigns just on its own. But it's valuable in a number of other cases. It's actually valuable for pushing forward plots faster than they would normally go. So I think that I may possibly be streaming some amount of Across the Obelisk sometime soon. I've still got the Dark Souls 1 run to wrap up at some point. I think that's probably going to be 2 or 3 hours worth of stuff to do. There's actually not much left. There are 3 boss fights left in the game, and I was only 3 boss fights short of beating it in a single sitting, in a single 5-hour run. And we can largely just beeline those bosses, and I think one of them is a bit of a struggle. The last one is a matter of getting the muscle memory down right. And of course, I am waiting to see the next patch come in for Dead by Daylight, which will be featuring Wesker. And I'm definitely throwing down some cash on Wesker. That looks too good. He sounds really cool. He jumps after survivors. He can vault faster than usual. If he leaps at somebody as part of his power and they go through a vault point, he will just immediately transition to a vault and keep following them. Which is hilarious. Okay, travel around Carillon. What was I working on for these nerds? I think it should be the journal. Penitent Nurse requires deprivation and ordeal. Professional Penitent is ordeal and deprivation. How much deprivation do I have? Seems like I need at least 3. I am okay at getting these, but only okay. I think I needed shifted perspective for the rats. Okay, I have 3 deprivation, that's good. Turn to the center. Yeah, the problem here is that I'm fairly bad at getting shifted perspective. I've only gained about 5 veils since I was trying this last, which is translated to an 8% additional success chance. I think. I might be conflating this with another check I was trying to make. Okay, there's a shifted perspective. Right, I need to find where the rats got off to that were asking me to do this. Oh yes, there's also the candlelit soiree with our aunt. I'm gonna mingle, our aunt will be fine. Back to Devil S, take the Rat Brigade back to the Devil S, we lose our shifted perspective, and that will progress the Ratty Brigade. What are they up to? They know the location of Sarge's vault. They need Wilma in Perdurance to continue. So there's that. As for our aunt, question her about St. Dunstan's. Lunch in Port Prosper is the next thing on her list. So, regarding the other penitents, we still need at least 1 more shift of perspective. Probably 2, because we want to hold on to our current shift. Nice, there we go. Okay, that gives us what we need to progress something else. Checking the reference. Professional Penitent. Needed 1 ordeal and 1 deprivation. 1 deprivation and 1 ordeal. Oh, Both of these need ordeal and that, so I need to go for ordeal at the Stunted Grove, and I'm going to need a minimum of 3. Also, this, okay, here's the Professional Penitent. Leave you, minimum of 3, and a 1. And a 2. We do not want a terror to be higher than 70. There's 3. Professional Penitent. Donate ordeal and that. Gain a savage secret. Lost some penances. Back to the center. And we want to go back to the Bell Garden. Or was the Checkerboard Garden? I think it's the Bell Garden that had the Penitent Nurse. Yes, the Penitent Nurse. Mix of ordeal and deprivation. And then that is cleared. Return to the central Carillon. I think this had the rubbery man who we already helped. Yes, back to the center again. So, we can go to the Garden of Insatiable Roses. We have a Hellish Penitent. Supposedly, the souls of devils are incapable of being refined. You make some adjustments, improve here and there, then a death or two later and all the work is gone. But I'm determined. If humans can be improved, so can I. A death or two. Takes 5 of endurance or inescapable truth, which means we'll probably need to get 6 rounds of endurance. This is excess here instead. So I would like to get 1 of excess. There's our 1 excess. Back to the center of Carillon. And I'm going to check what the requirement is here in the Sand Garden. It's a Penitent Ape. He needs either 5 inescapable truth or 5 excess. So it's theoretically possible for us to get the 5 excess that he needs, but that will be a matter for another time. We don't have the hold space to pick up the bronze wood. I did want to put in at Lustrum, but I think I won't after all. I don't have the hold space to carry any hours, so I can't make good on any mining at Lustrum, which is a bummer. So I'm just going to turn back to New Winchester. We'll put away our excess of Chorister Nectar there, and we'll think about what to do next afterwards. I think the best bet after that is to go to either Port Avon or Magdalene's for terror reduction, and then from there out to the Regent's Grave. Our overarching objective is 2 things. We need an extra otherworldly artifact, and we also need to find Mr. Menagerie. I wonder why it is that each of the curators have taken a moniker such as Mr. Are they trying to mimic some behavior? Like, it seems noteworthy that they've chosen Mr. rather than something like Lord or Duke or anything like that, and yet they have all chosen Mr. By rights, they are the direct servants of sovereigns. You would think they would have a lordly title. The judgments make up the Parliament of Heaven. Constellations, and conjunctions. With each constellation being akin to a family, and each conjunction being akin to a nation. Ah, that's right. There were the masters. Well, even at the time when they were masters, they were still the misters, weren't they? Because they were the masters of London once upon a time, before London slipped away from their grasp. Food for thought, to be certain. So we haven't had a shifting of fortunes, even though the split is only something like 60-40, and I need to get these port reports out of here before I wind up looping back to places I've already been. So we're just going to turn in port reports at Victory Hall. And I actually needed an otherworldly artifact anyway, so let's maybe grab a couple of these. And a couple Savage Secrets. I really want my set count of Savage Secrets to be absurd. Like, I would like maybe 40 Savage Secrets to be hanging out in my inventory with nothing better to do. I think I forgot to check Bazaar Bargains, or I had tapped them all already. Having tapped them all is what I really wanted anyway. Oh, I could take more Bronzewood up to Port Prosper. It's not a terrible idea. Then again, actually, what I'm about to do... Okay, yeah, there are no prospects here. I want to take... still can't use the Proserpina. Can I make a shift to use the Proserpina? I'm like just a little bit of Veil short. Let's put these guys in charge, and I should be able to use the Proserpina so long as they're in charge. And then, yeah. We don't really need the speciometer right now. And this will give us some additional hold space. Also, while I'm at it, the Bronzewood shielding should be installed. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. I'm not going to have anywhere near the iron to use the rose and adamant plating, which is a shame. I accidentally clicked on that, didn't I? Not funny. Okay, let's see. I really think it's going to turn out that Mr. Menagerie is like at the House of Rods and Chains, and I completely missed the mark on being able to finish that leg. Findings to the Bedeviled Didact. Pushing a stack of work off the desk, he turns immediately to your materials. You leave him to it. A week later, he calls you back to discuss his findings. He serves you black, sweet tea, the cup and saucer rattling in his shaking hand. All's the study of the suns is difficult. The judgments are vast, ancient, beings of incomprehensible complexity. Any investigation is also an act of translation, rendering their concerns and structures into analogies we can comprehend. Nevertheless, I believe I better understand the conjunctions that divide them now. Imagine vast nations, but founded upon philosophy, not geography. There are three primary conjunctions. He shoots you an irritated look and presses on. The chrysanthemum conjunction are concerned with inception, with beginnings and newness, while their counterparts, the amaranthine conjunction, believe in culmination and bringing things to completion. The nepenthine conjunction advocates separation, distinction, isolation, the raising of barriers and drawing of borders. He frowns. They do not get on. He's got further research. Okay, he needs to go on a research trip. He needs to go to a library in the Blue Kingdom at the Forge of Souls, and the Masochism needs to go to Pan. It seems like you need to escort these fellows around one after another in order to complete this overarching objective. Get full hull repairs, that's fine. Okay, prospects. Got the mining array on now. So my thought is, as I'm going up to the Regent's Grave, and the wreck of the Parsifal, it is basically 100% certain that I'm going to get some bronze wood that I could take up to Port Prosper. I could also possibly get the rest of the bronze wood through a bronze wood expedition, if need be, over at the Trader's Wood. Hire a few crew as well. There we go. Got a couple crew. So, I should be bringing a lot of fuel and supplies. I need the hold space to carry... actually, I will be going to Magdalene, so might as well drop off some seeds. I'll need the hold space to carry 7 bronze wood. So, we don't want to be more than 16 at the point when we're gathering the last of it. Given that I'm likely to need to complete an expedition, this is just expedition stuff. So, since I believe I've got lag strike in the chat, and we've been all about the obelisk as of late, I did unlock both Bree and Grookly. I was having some difficulty figuring out how to make good on Bree, but I did note that she does have those invigorating strikes as part of her baseline deck, which seems like if I get the extra vigor, would stabilize her a lot more easily. And I just needed to realize that before I went out with her. I was also playing that run with her still kind of at a low rank, and what's it called? She was still at a little bit of a low rank, and I was on Madness level 1, which is a little tricky. Yeah, I'm thinking one mistake I made when I was playing her is... Oh, Discontent. Brandy. Have a bit. Unusual items. Yeah, I think one of the mistakes I made was at my basic town shop. They had for sale... Yeah, I think that's correct. She has a really, really high base health pool. I think the trap that I fell into is at the starting shop, they had for sale... Oh, wow, again? Let me just get out of here. They had for sale an armor piece that gave you just baseline thorns at the start of an encounter. And I think that was a mistake to bother picking up for her. Because no matter what, you want your frontliner to have a maximized resistances. So you should just get armor that gives you flat resistances. Yeah, I think Heiner has probably the most direct, simple playstyle of all of the warrior classes that I've seen. Grookly is peculiar. You definitely want to be doing the bleed manipulation, and I feel like he's a character who benefits very, very well from some of the high-tier manipulations that you can do in terms of perks. So you can adjust his perks so that bleed and furious are less punishing. So that gives you some other options. An unlicensed chart, yes. That's what we're always looking for coming through here. I will treat terror. Yeah, we can request a treatment for loneliness. Consulting with a former crewman. Have your seeds. They've got Chorister Nectar, but I'm not going to pick it up. I have more than enough. And we'll get a port report. Always grabbing port reports. Can't be missing those. Okay, I don't want the Chorister Nectar. I just want to be very stocked on these things. Okay. After using Wilbur for a couple of rounds, I had tried to go back to Evelyn, and I just can't. She feels so lame by comparison. Yeah, yeah. You really need to be... If you've got any madness going in at all, you need to have more of a plan around your dispelling, and you need to have your party fine-tuned to a certain extent. A party that beats Madness 0, you can take that same party up to Madness 1, but you don't want to take a party that you're experimenting with into Madness 1, you'll kind of get crushed. That being said, you can go into Madness 1 and get crushed, and your carryover chest will still be about as valuable as if you had spent 3 hours on no madness. One other thing I figured out is, I unlocked the Imp Pet. And if you want to unlock the Imp Pet, take the Fire Mage and go down the hatch. In the first area. He has a lot of unique interactions down there. So if you're playing that character, you should always take that route. Oh, that's actually true. Yeah, burn inflicting cold is... I did see the cold, the burn inflicts cold. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Alright, let's see. Over here. I'm gonna grab these munitions. And we'll see whether or not I make use of them soon enough. You know, I hadn't thought about that the fact that, burn inflicts cold. I haven't seen wet boosts cold. That seems good. But if burn, inflicts cold damage, then it more naturally stacks with the cold spells, because it'll hit that same resistance. Okay, we can get a Cryptic Benefactor or an Unlicensed Chart, or I can get more Gossip. I've got 6 Gossip to work with. I'm just going to get more Gossip in bulk. I think of Rain as being a fairly decent spell, like either way. Even just the baseline, like Rain for 3 wet is an okay spell. Rain for 1 wet is a lame spell. You should not run Rain for 1 wet unless you have bonus wet. Oh, Scribesmith's Trophy. Forgot I needed that. Okay, Cantankery Trophy, and then I can finish that up. There are quite a few spells that are like, hey, this spell completely sucks if you don't have an implicit bonus from perks. Which is a little peculiar. Did you notice that you can save a deck build? So in the first town, after you've assembled things, you can save a deck list, and then if you come back later, you can put together that deck list just at the click of a button. It spends out all the shards required to put your deck in that configuration. You could save a tremendous amount of time. Yup. Let's see. Let's do this. I think I get some stuff from it. Ooh. Ouch. A vision of the heaven and terror has fallen. Ooh. I did not know that evasion worked against self-harm spells. I know that if it's, what I found regarding self-harm spells is that, if it says, like, suffer and a damage type, you can block the damage type. But if it says, like, lose health, you just lose health. And there's no blocking it. I'm just gonna listen to the death hymn here. Let's see, if you can evade it, that makes Mirror Image more interesting. Although, Mirror Image actually is already quite good. More stovepipe nameplates. I don't want to be giving up my visions of the heaven just yet. So we'll start building up an immense trove of gossip. Oh, a little out of range. Oh my, they're all over the place. They're just carrying on. I know that resistances matter. That's one of the interesting things about building out the Fire Mage. One of his early options is you can take Fireproof, and that makes it a lot easier for him to manage a self-burn strat. But does Bleed have a damage type? Oh, I don't have a saying right now. The Isekai frog. Ah, that's the bard, correct? I still haven't picked him up. Okay, yeah, so bleed and poison both, you can't resist. There's no resistance for them. I've noticed that you can get a modifier on bleed that allows you to bleed enemies that would normally be immune to it. Which seems like it's essential for certain grouply builds that focus on bleeding. I was trying a build... I'll open the gate. I was trying a build where I was running grouply on bleed, and I was running poison on the lizard, and I got stymied at Ilmer because he's immune to bleed and he was dropping my poison too much. Alright. I will accept for the Tamer, and I will leave the grave. I'm gonna do a quick scouting to make sure I'm not leaving behind any extra bronze wood. Okay, I am not. Oh, that's funny. Truck-kun did him in. It's so bizarre. The isekai trope has gotten so big. I'm gonna eat some fungus. Has gotten so big as to have its own parodies and yet still won't, like, collapse. There are still so many of these. Okay, I'm gonna run down to the Parsifal and pick up Percy Blythe. Bardic spells are fairly good, but I think Stanza is a bit of a... what's it called? I would say that Stanza is a parasitic mechanic in the game, because it does not integrate or play nice with any other mechanics. You have to be running it on its own, so it kind of, like, pulls away from the rest of the game in a big way. You know, the audio that plays when these guys get aggroed doesn't use the spatial sound correctly. Whenever there's anything audible near my ship, I hear whatever's audible on the side of my head that it actually is positioned in the game. This is very important for certain ports and things. But if I aggro a colonized Cantankeree, I always hear it in the left ear. It shouldn't work that way. Parsifal. Yeah, I think one of the tricks about it is it's very difficult to run on a character who's not suited for it. That's really what I think is problematic about it. I think we do need to breach the fungus, gain terror for not doing it correctly. Lose a crew member, we enter the engine room. Examine the captain's corpse. Percy Blythe is alive. We talk to him. I will decide his fate. We're bringing him to the Trader's Wood to complete his last mission. And we're really just taking the quick and easy completion on the Parsifal. I think it's more rewarding if you bring him back to London, but none of the rewards are particularly absurd either way. I just want to knock out the plotline and get the experience bump. That's about right, and that's what I think is annoying about Stanza being in the game, is it's very difficult to get any value out of Stanza if you aren't on the perks for it. Peacock Wind, alright. Yeah, that's what I think is annoying about Stanza, is you can't splash it mid-run. Now, there are a lot of mechanics that are actually a little difficult to splash mid-run, because you don't get to make any adjustments to your character perks. Yeah. It's a bit of a quirky thing about the build, about the whole game, and about building out decks for the whole game. I would like it if there was some means of adjusting your perks mid-run, even if it's annoying to do so. There are some cards where you can pull a purple version of the card and not be able to run it. Although I suppose, like, mindlessly picking purple cards should be viewed as a mistake either way. Whatever. It certainly works at Madness Zero. Oh, we got the bug where the, like a destruction animation for a ship doesn't go away. Huh. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, let's see. We can pick up hours if we want. Suppose there's no reason not to, because this bargain's gonna go away. Although the reason not to is that we may need to move on. We may not have the hold space to complete a task with the Bronzewood. We'll write a port report while we're here. Then we begin the service of a year and a day. That is complete. Gained 2,000 experience, gained a Searing Enigma. We lost 50 strength of the sun. The Tackities started to beat the stovepipes more ferociously, and some of our crew walks away, which is fine. Back to the Tsar, there's no new bargain. That is okay. Let's see. So, we want to have 7 Bronzewood, so we need an additional 4. We can hold that much. So we're going to go on an expedition. A large expedition for Bronzewood. It says this is a difficult expedition, but is it really? Is it really? A difficult expedition just means we need to acquire a lot of progress. Oh, actually, this is coming in at a hard check. Okay. We'll lose a crew member on that. Search around the roof here. And there's the grove. We get 3 bronze wood, leaving us with 6, and we're down to 14 crew. We do not really have supplies to continue onward. So I want to continue down to Port Avon, but I would like a cantankerous stomach before I actually put in there so I can complete an objective. I also need to go to Port Prosper. So we're going to go to Magdalene's and then Port Prosper. And then at Port Prosper... Why did I need to go to Port Prosper? I think it was for somebody's... The aunt needs us to go there. Ah, yes, and we're taking Bronzewood there. That's the big reason, the Bronzewood. Wait a second, I could have bought the last Bronzewood. Somerset Camp is a Bronzewood exporter. What am I doing? If I need one more, just buy it. So I'll buy 1 Bronzewood here. I'll get more fuel in Magdalene's. I'll get the Cantankerous trophy on my way to Port Prosper. There we go. Also, I can make good on this to get more crew. Away now, come away. There's nothing else left in the camp because that's all done. There. What was I thinking? I stand by going on the expedition and losing a crew member to get the first 3. Expeditions for Bronzewood are not tremendously exciting, because I'm giving up 2 supplies and 2 fuel, which is about 60 sovereigns worth. And I'm risking some crew, which is about like 20 sovereigns ahead. And then I'm getting about 300 sovereigns worth of Bronzewood in exchange. It's okay. I suppose convert... Ah! That spawned right on top of me. Could you not? We can pick up a crew. I think this also drops your terror. Ah, does the other thing. He's insane. We'll lose the terror instead. And here's a wreck of the song. Mourn the dead. Explore the captain's cabin, get maybe an artifact. Gossip. Okay, I've got some gossip. Hot goss. A little bit of hot goss. You find it very funny how quickly we can destroy things now. Let's see. Bit of a peacock wind. A lot of marauders picking fights with us. Do they know who we are? I think they don't. Being said, I don't think anybody in particular plans to be blown apart by, you know, a correspondence gun. Who's built by the nightmares of my ancestors. Pick up another unlicensed chart. Pretty hilarious number of them now. Alright. Alright, we don't need treatment for anything. I'm not buying verdant seeds. We'll just get a bunch of fuel and carry on to Port Prosper. I already have a port report from Magdalene's as well. We'll go past the Braley Rock. See about hunting some cantankery, possibly some guests. I think guests are a bit of a rare spawn over here. They don't tend to show up. Marauders too, I guess. Why not? Sure, top me off. There, hunted. Take that, New Somerset. They need to give me something more challenging. Frankly, I should be able to bring them a Curator trophy and then call it a day. Or maybe something from a fluke. I would like to try on this captain, hunting after Scorn Flukes for a bit, to see if something else happens if I do enough of the, understanding fluke song interaction. I would like to see where that capstones. Took a bit of a hit there. We'll be taking the terror reduction because we've got a full hold. It's either that interaction or the one about... Oh, hey. Or the one about gaining sovereigns. Here we'll be going for Stony Organ. We need more uncanny specimens. Quite a lot more. 5 uncanny specimens. That's rookie numbers. I'm not going to worry about chasing down that bull cantankery off on the left. They're not a very profitable hunt. Just a little bit. You know, our big profit right now is just entirely on prospects. When you already have the supplies in your bank, you just want to run prospects. Uncanny specimen, thank you. Brings us to 6. Exploration while we're here, port report. Performance of the Gaudy Widow. I will enjoy myself at a good, honest theater. I will meet with an inconvenient aunt's friend. Received a Christmas card. Talk to her on the locomotive. What is she involved in? She wants to go to Pat. All right. At the other company house, we'll trade in port reports. But more importantly, we'll go over to the bazaar, turn in the 7 bronzewood. Good payout for that. They will continue to offer this prospect so long as the stovepipes remain struggling. Buy some munitions. And back over here, the parsimonious chairman. Want to turn in tackety nameplates. We only had 3 tackety nameplates. We've got more stovepipe nameplates as well. Gain some reputation, gain some gratitude. Our gratitude is at 9, but we're not going to get a good return on that gratitude unless they get back into power. So that's just going to keep stocking up. Get a little terror decline for hanging out. Buy a little bit more supply. Okay. We've been at this for almost 3 hours so far, and though we've been doing a lot more meandering than we've been doing anything particularly progress-oriented, there's still a lot of meandering left to go, and so I will be at that for a while. I forgot to get the Acrobat's twin when I was in New Winchester. Oops. Yeah. Whether or not I complete Palmyr's is not important. I have enough Searing Enigmas right now, and I have other ways of getting Searing Enigmas as well. It does appear as though the Mr. Menagerie is not here in the Reach. So I think what I need to be doing right now is building the relay so that I can go more easily between Albion and Eleutheria. Yeah, 4 caged catches, the Didact, the Citizen, so on and so forth. He has left London, so London is where I can find the note about where he actually is. A package to go to Lustrum that I haven't gone back to. They need to go to Endurance. That's in London, and I forgot to do it the last time I was there. I need to visit him again. Yada, 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 yada. Lustrum, Endurance, and Serene Mausoleum. Hybris, Hunting Club. Okay, so I'm planning to conclude this for now, and I'm going to do a little bit of offline work to progress some of the plot lines that I have done before. Specifically, I'm going to be moving up on, like, Inconvenient Aunt, the Navigator, the Rat Brigade, and I'm going to be working to finish the relay that links between London and Pan. London and, well, yes, Pan, basically. So, I'll take care of some of that stuff, and we'll try and get back online for this. It might be as much as a week before we get this back to online. I wanted to start on the truth today, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to necessarily get a lot done on that because we've got a fresh captain, and there's a ton of work to do on a fresh captain. So, thank you for joining. This has been Jupiter Exile, and I hope we wander again soon. Good night.